Okay, so happiness, right? We all want it.
We do.
But it can feel kind of elusive sometimes. Like, are we chasing rainbows here? So today,
Okay.
we're diving into a source that you might not expect
Okay.
for some really solid advice on this whole happiness thing.
I'm intrigued.
It's a talk called Hallmarks of Happiness.
Okay.
And before you think, oh, this is going to be like a sermon,
Right.
it's from a perspective that you might not expect.
Okay.
And it's full of really relatable stories.
It really is. It's like this fascinating blend of like personal stories and like timeless wisdom, you know?
Yes, exactly.
Taking these principles that have been around forever and making them make sense for like right now.
Yes. And the speaker, Elder Gary B. Sabin, he lays it all out.
He does.
In 5 like key hallmarks. And I got to say, some of the stories he tells are so powerful.
They really are.
They really got me thinking.
They're very thought-provoking.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Hallmark number 1.
Okay.
The foundation of Jesus Christ.
Okay.
Now,
I know where you're going.
I know.
Yeah.
You might be hearing that and thinking, whoa, too religious.
Yeah.
But just hang with us for a sec.
Okay.
Because it's less about like specific beliefs, right?
Yeah.
And more about those core values that Jesus taught.
Exactly.
And those are things we can all get behind.
Right. Like service.
Yes.
Compassion. Forgiveness.
Yes.
Those are things we all strive for.
Yes. In our lives. Like to build a good life.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter where you're coming from.
Exactly.
And he tells this story about his son, Justin, who has cystic fibrosis.
Oh, wow.
And they were at scout camp.
Okay.
And Justin was determined to earn his archery merit badge. Can you imagine?
With CF.
With CF.
Yeah, that's incredible.
He can't even imagine.
Whoa.
So he's there. He's given it his all, but he is struggling to hit the target.
Of course.
And his only bullseye actually landed on the target next to his.
Oh, no.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
The archery instructor, instead of being like, dude, you missed.
Right.
He was just like, good job.
Oh, right. I love that.
Like he saw past the failure and recognized the effort and even more important, the character this young man.
Exactly.
And that's where Elder Sabin, he makes this bridge to this idea of like a foundation in Christ.
Okay.
It's not about like hitting every target perfectly.
No.
But it's about striving to live by those principles.
Right.
Even when we fall short.
Even when we mess up.
Yes, which we all do.
Which we all do all the time.
Yeah.
So less about being perfect and more about the intention behind the actions.
Why?
Right, the why.
Yeah.
I love that.
It takes the pressure off.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the foundation.
What's the next building block of happiness?
All right, what's next?
According to Elder Sabin.
Hallmark number 2.
Okay, bring it on.
All right, so this one focuses on our identity. We are sons and daughters of God.
Okay, so that sounds a little logical.
A little churchy.
It can.
Well, go on, keep going.
Okay, but stick with me on this one.
Okay.
Because he illustrates this with this really, like, powerful story about this man who had a tattooed face.
Oh.
And the number 439 tattooed on the back of his head.
Okay, that's intense, but what's with the 439?
Okay, so that number, for him, represented his identity.
Wow.
His gang territory. And he even said, he's like, that's me. That's who I am.
Wow.
I own that territory, 219. He even had the number wrong.
He didn't even have the right number.
He didn't even have his own number right.
Oh, wow.
But the point is, it didn't matter.
Right. It was this external factor, this number that had become his whole world.
It's kind of heartbreaking when you think about it.
It is.
Like, this is his whole sense of self.
Yeah.
And it's wrapped up in, like, this number.
A number.
Yeah.
And it makes you think,
right.
How often are we doing the same thing?
Yes.
You know, we define ourselves by these things.
Totally.
Our jobs, our appearance.
Social media.
Social media. Yes, all of it.
All the things.
Right.
Yeah.
And we forget, like, our inherent worth.
Yes.
And that's really the core of this whole hallmark, right?
Okay.
It's a reminder that our value comes from within.
Yes.
It doesn't come from anything external.
Love that.
It doesn't matter our flaws, our past mistakes, our tattoos.
Right. It's about recognizing that inherent worth.
Exactly.
As human beings.
As human beings.
Regardless of our accomplishments.
Yes.
Or how other people see us.
Or don't see us.
Or don't see us, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a big one.
It is a big one. Okay.
So we've got the foundation.
Yeah.
We've got our identity.
Okay. I'm starting to see how these build on each other.
They do. They do.
So foundation.
Okay.
Our identity as human beings.
Yes.
What's next?
Okay. So hallmark number 3 is all about how we treat each other. It is a classic.
Okay.
But for good reason.
Okay.
The 5th hallmark is gratitude.
I knew it.
You called it.
I had a feeling.
Yeah.
It's funny, though, because
yeah,
gratitude is one of those things, right?
it is.
That we hear everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
All the time. Everybody's talking about gratitude.
It's true.
But how do you actually make it
Right.
a habit?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Like, it's easy to say,
Yeah.
be more grateful.
Just be grateful.
Right.
Yeah, but how?
Yeah.
How do we actually live that?
Yes.
And I think that's where Elder Sabin's insights are really, really helpful here.
Okay.
Because he's not just saying feel grateful.
Right.
He's actually giving us this framework
Yeah.
for building that into our lives.
It's like he's giving us the tools
Yes.
and, like, the blueprint
Exactly.
to actually create that mindset.
Yes.
Instead of just, like,
Instead of hoping for the best.
hoping for the best.
Yeah.
Or just, like,
Yeah.
putting a sticky note on the mirror that says, be grateful.
Right. It's like,
Okay, but how?
yeah, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
And so I think each of these hallmarks that we've talked about
Great.
is like a crucial step in that process,
Okay, so it's less about those, like,
Yeah.
fleeting moments of happiness
Yes.
that we all feel sometimes.
Right.
And it's more about creating that.
It's like that deep contentment
Yeah.
that comes from actually like leaving these principles,
So less about chasing happiness.
Yes.
And more about
cultivating it,
creating it.
from the inside out.
Yes. I love that.
Right.
That's a good shift in perspective.
It is.
Okay, I love it.
Okay, good.
This has been so insightful.
That has.
This whole, like, deep dive.
It's a lot to unpack.
I know.
But it's good stuff.
But it's good stuff.
It is.
We've covered so much. We've, like, unpacked these 5 hallmarks.
Yes.
But for our listeners out there,
Yeah.
what's the takeaway?
That's the $1 million question, right?
Yes.
So what?
Yes. What's the so what here?
Right. Like, why do we even care about any of this?
Yes.
And I think Elder Sabin, he says it best.
Okay.
He says that we can really, truly find happiness when we build our lives on these foundations.
Okay.
When we recognize our inherent worth.
Yes.
And the worth of everyone around us.
Okay.
And we hold on to that broader perspective.
Yes.
That extends beyond just our immediate circumstances, you know?
Yeah.
And through it all.
Yeah.
We have to cultivate that gratitude. We can't forget about that one.
It's like he tied it all up in a nice little bow.
He did. And
you know what I appreciate, too?
What's that?
Is that he acknowledges that. Like, even when we're trying our best to live by these principles.
Of course.
Life still throws curveballs, you know?
It does.
It's not all, like, sunshine and rainbows.
No.
Even when you're, like, acing the gratitude game, you know what I mean?
Right, and I think that's important to acknowledge because life can be tough.
Yes, it can.
But here's the thing.
Okay.
When we face those inevitable challenges with this foundation that we've been talking about, when we remember our inherent worth and the worth of others, and when we hold on to that broader perspective, right, and we lead with a grateful heart, we are stronger, we're more resilient, and we're able to get through those challenges with greater purpose and peace.
Okay, so it's not that. These hallmarks, like, magically erase.
Right. They don't erase our problems.
Life's difficulties.
Right.
They give us the tools.
They give us the tools to cope.
To face them, yeah.
Exactly.
With greater strength, resilience.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, I love that.
And I think that...
And it reminds me of those stories that he shared, like the one about his son at scout camp, the man with the tattoo, his daughter facing, like, life-threatening surgery.
Powerful.
Those stories, those real-life examples make these principles so much more relatable.
Absolutely. Because they're not just these abstract ideas.
Exactly.
He's grounding it in his own life.
Yes.
In these messy, beautiful realities of being human.
And it's interesting because even though this talk is coming from a religious perspective, obviously, these hallmarks of happiness feel pretty universal.
They do.
You know?
They're very relatable.
Yeah, you don't have to be religious.
No, you don't have to connect with what he's saying.
To appreciate the wisdom. And what he's saying.
I completely agree. And I think that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating, is that we're looking at this through the lens of Elder Sabin's personal experiences.
Okay.
But the message itself,
yes,
it really resonates, I think, far beyond.
It's about something deeper.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's about tapping into something that unites us as human beings.
It reminds us that no matter our backgrounds, our beliefs,
our struggles,
all of it,
we
all share this common desire for happiness, fulfillment.
Yes.
And what we've learned today is that these hallmarks, these principles, they
give us
timeless guidance.
We often hear about the pursuit of happiness.
The pursuit, right?
Like it's this thing.
We're chasing it.
We're chasing. We got to chase it down.
It's this elusive thing out there. That we got to go find.
Yes. But he's suggesting that it's less about chasing it. And more about
putting in the work. Practicing it every day.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
Right.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so instead of chasing happiness, we're creating it.
We're creating it.
By making these conscious choices that align with our values.
Yes. Showing compassion. Remembering our worth.
Our worth and the worth of others.
Yes.
Remembering that there's something bigger than ourselves out there.
Yes. Beautifully said.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Good stuff.
I'm feeling inspired.
I am too.
But what about our listeners?
Yeah.
What's one thing they can take away from this?
That's a great question.
Like one small step.
Okay.
They can take today.
Okay.
To start
these principles.
Okay, so as I was going back through his talk, one thing really stood out to me.
Okay.
And he talks about how when we live by these principles, it's like we become jewels that can be collected and cherished.
Yes. I remember that.
You do?
I remember him saying that.
Okay.
It's beautiful imagery.
It is.
But what does that even mean?
What does it mean to be a jewel?
Yeah, what does that actually mean?
Right.
To be one of those jewels?
Well, think of how a jeweler takes a rough stone, right? And cuts and polishes and refines it to reveal its inner brilliance. And I think embracing these hallmarks helps us to do the same thing with ourselves.
Okay, so it's about recognizing that we are all
we're all works in progress.
Yes. Capable of becoming something.
But we all have that potential.
Truly extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
Right. It's about embracing that journey of growth and transformation, even when it's uncomfortable.
Yes.
Right.
Challenging.
Yes. And it's like we were talking about before with Elder Sabin's daughter, facing that surgery with courage and with faith.
It's often in those difficult experiences that we discover our greatest strength.
Yes. Oh, I love that.
Right.
Okay, this is making a lot of sense to me.
Good.
So we're not talking about just being happy, in the moment.
Right. It's not fleeting happiness.
Right.
It's
a deeper sense of...
It's enduring joy.
Yes.
That comes from aligning our lives with these principles.
Yes, I love it.
Right.
And it all starts with making that conscious commitment.
Exactly.
To going on that journey.
To the journey of growth.
Yes. I love it.
Right.
I love it. Good. I'm glad.
Okay. This has been an incredible deep dive.
It has.
I feel like
it's a lot.
I have a whole new perspective on happiness.
That's what we like to hear.
What's one last thought we can leave our listeners with?
It is a good one.
This has been such an insightful conversation.
It has.
And I feel like we're kind of getting to the heart of it.
I think so.
We've explored these hallmarks of happiness, right?
We have.
And now it's how do we actually weave these into our lives,
Yes.
We have all the ingredients, but what's the recipe?
Exactly.
Where do we even begin?
Right. And I think Elder Sabin kind of gives us a subtle but really powerful clue.
Okay.
When he talks about how when we live by these principles, it's like we become jewels that are kind of gathered and cherished,
Yes. I remember that.
You do.
Yes, I remember that line.
Okay.
It's beautiful imagery.
It is.
But how do we become...
Yeah, how do we...
One of those jewels.
What does that even look like, you know? And I think of it this way. Think of how a jeweler takes a rough stone, right?
Yeah.
And cuts and polishes and refines it to reveal its inner brilliance.
Yes.
And I think embracing these hallmarks is like that for us.
Yes.
It's about, polishing away at the rough edges and becoming
the best version
the best version of ourselves.
Of ourselves.
Yes. It's not about being perfect.
No. It's the journey.
It's the journey.
Of growth.
Exactly.
And transformation, right?
Yes, and like any...
Even when it's hard.
Worthwhile journey.
Yeah.
It's going to have challenges along the way.
Totally.
Right? It's going to be uncomfortable.
And that's where we discover our strength.
Yes, and I think...
Like when we were talking about before with...
It's in those moments.
Elder Sabin's daughter.
Of discomfort, of uncertainty.
Yes.
That we discover our true strength and our resilience.
Oh, I love that.
You know?
So those trials, they have a way of...
They do.
Revealing what we're truly made of.
They refine us in ways that we never thought possible. And remember, we don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love and acceptance.
Reminder. Yes, we don't have to be perfect to be worthy and to be loved.
We don't.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes we forget that.
Okay, this is making so much sense to me.
Good, I'm glad.
Like we're not talking about just being happy, like in the moment.
Right, it's not fleeting happiness.
Right.
Well, right. It's
this deeper sense.
Enduring joy. Yes. That comes from aligning our lives with these principles.
And it all starts with that conscious decision.
It does. To embark on that journey.
On that journey.
Of growth.
Yes.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Good.
Okay, so for our listeners out there who are like ready to embark on this journey.
Okay.
What's one small...
what's one practical
step they can take today?
Okay, here's a thought.
Okay.
What if, starting today,
yes,
you made a commitment to incorporate just one of these hallmarks into your everyday life?
Okay.
Right? Choose one.
Okay. I like it.
That resonates with you.
Okay.
Whether it's gratitude or compassion.
Yes.
Or remembering your inherent worth, right?
Yes.
Focus on it.
Okay.
Make it a conscious part of your day.
I love that.
Doesn't have to be this.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be this big.
Grand gesture.
Big, huge thing.
Right. Just little things.
Okay.
Little acts of kindness.
Yes.
Moments of reflection.
Yes.
Expressions of gratitude.
Yeah.
Those things make a world of difference.
What a beautiful thought to end on.
It is. It is. Yeah. Right. It's about taking these principles.
Yeah.
And putting them into action.
Yes.
One small step at a time.
One day at a time.
I love it.
Right.
This has been
me too.
So good.
I'm glad.
Unpacking all this with you.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
And for our listeners out there, if you're looking for us.
Yeah, where will you be?
We'll be over here putting these hallmarks into practice.
I love it.
One jewel at a time.